Hello, everyone. My name is Noemi Cisneros, and this is my second year with SHAC. I am the co-chair, and we're waiting on Ms. Parami. She is the chair, and we are going to call the meeting to order. It is 4:32, so I'd like to welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Together, we're going to make a difference for our staff and our students. So I am going to transfer it over to Ms. Elvia, and she's our head nurse with the district.
Hello, thank you all for being here, and thank you for the ones that are familiar faces that are back, and for our new faces. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Hi, good afternoon. You can go ahead and if you'll sign up there, you see if your name is on that first list, and you're welcome to sign on that one. And if it's not, you're welcome to fill it in and sign your name as well. Okay. And so then this year, last year during SHAC, we, our secretary. We didn't have the secretary all year long. They didn't attend the meetings. So this year we're going to go ahead and move forward with selecting a new secretary. Are there any nominations for a secretary for this year?
You can nominate yourself.
Yes.
Or a volunteer.
Volunteer, anybody? It's just, and the secretary's role is to write down the meeting and how and what is being said, and then it'll be responsible for our minutes, providing the minutes for us.
Going once, going twice.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna nominate.
We're gonna
someone.
nominate. Who would be interested? Who has time? Becky. Becky's like, yeah, she doesn't have time.
If we get no nominations, how do we proceed with that response?
Would you like to be nominated?
I can do it.
I nominate Ms.
Okay.
Thomas.
Okay, awesome. Who
Really, right?
Yeah, sure. And we do have a recording, so that recording will be provided to us as well, and that'll help us also fall back on who said what. So when we do speak, we want to make sure that we state our name. So my name is Elvia Loera, I'm the head nurse with Health Services. So that way they can have it in the video and we can have our name stated. So when we do go back and view it, if we need to write the minutes or we need to get the names, we can document those, okay? So Andres Gonzalez has agreed to be our secretary.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve? Yes.
Second? Aye.
Motion? Okay.
So if Andres is not at a meeting, what happens?
I'm sorry?
If he's not at a meeting, then what happens?
We'll still have the recording, and would he be able to go back and view the recording, Ms. Goggin, and then he can provide the minutes from there?
Sure.
Okay. And second was So I'll go ahead and move on to the next one, recognizing our department representatives. You'll see a presentation from Tanya right now in a minute from It's Time Texas, and on how we wanna address health and wellness as a whole, right? So we bring representatives from different departments to come in and represent their department, and also their parents and as employees, right? So we do have Mr. Leonel Vega from Child Nutrition as one of our committee members, and he's been one of our committee members since last year as well. A great advocate for our students and for our district, right? We do have Ms. Jessica Reina. She's representing our ACE program. And we do have Ms. Tanya Parra. She represents It's Time Texas. And then Ms. Becky Dominguez is here today with us, and she's one of our nurses at one of our campuses. Of course, myself as the Health Services head nurse, Elvia Loera. And then we have Mrs. Goggin. She's our assistant superintendent, and she joins us in our SHAC meetings as well. So great to have everyone here, and we do thank you. And then we have, of course, employees from throughout the district, right? And then parents. So we have parents, right? You're a parent. We have a parent. And so right now, we would like for everyone to stand up and introduce themselves, please.
My name is Freddie Gonzalez. I work at Harlingen School of Health Professions, and I also have 2 students at Medians Elementary, 4th grade and 2nd grade. So now I have 2 more coming up in a couple weeks too. So.
Yay, good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Andres Gonzalez. I'm currently a first-year teacher at Harlingen Health Professions, and I just got honorary secretary, so perfect.
My name is Becky Dominguez. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for 28 years, and this is my 17th year with the district.
Hi everyone, I'm Susana Arismendi. I'm a parent of 5 children, and I have 3 in elementary, 1 in high school, and 1 that just graduated from Arlington.
Cool.
I'm Debbie Scania, Assistant Superintendent for Human Services, and thank you all so much for being here. This is a super important committee of our school district. We appreciate the input, the feedback, the suggestions that you all will bring forward this year, and look forward to working with you and collaborating. So we want, of course, the very best for our students and our staff. We want everyone to remain healthy. And so thank you again for joining us.
Hi, my name is Jessica Reina. I work for the ACE department. I am the specialist for the program. This is my first year in the program, but I've been working with the district for 10 years. So I love kids, and working with them and having them have the best is my priority. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Leonel Vega. I'm the coordinator for child nutrition programs, and this is my 2nd year in the Columbus City.
Hi everyone, my name is Tanya Galibaba. I'm the South Texas Regional Director of Ricetown, Texas, and we've partnered with CISD for the last couple of years to bring more resources to the school district, bring more health opportunities, and I'm here to continue doing this. I'm very excited for this coming year.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Castro. I work with Tanya, and I'm visiting from Austin today. And I've heard all the great things that we're doing with Harlingen, and happy to be here today.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I have twins, a little girl and a little boy. They are in the 1st grade. They go to Lamar Elementary, so I'm kind of just excited. We're really big on health in my family, such as going to the gym, making sure the kids eat yogurt, like all of that stuff. So being a part of this is something that I'm really excited about.
Okay, our next presenter will be Ms. Tanya with the Sky, Texas. Welcome. Check this out.
So this one is the clicker. Just push this button, this part right there, and then move on to the next one.
Okay. So, what is the SHAC? Do you guys know what a SHAC is? No, you guys are all here. We don't know what that is. Okay, it's a great question. A lot of people don't know what it is. It happens a lot. Every time I introduce myself and I say that we work with school districts and we partner with SHACs, everybody's always like, "What is a SHAC?" A School Health Advisory Council. And so, the School Health Advisory Council, known as SHAC, are made of different members. Primarily, we want parents to be here to help bring input to school district. Anything that has to do with health. So, something that the SHAC does with it, we follow what's called the WISC model, which is the whole school, whole community, whole child, also known as the WISC model. And so this is where you look at the child, not only them as a being, but everything that's surrounded them that has to do with their environment, that it has to do with their health. So like their family, with their environment, the teachers, their community, and so on. And so using this model, we will plan out for our projects for the SHAC the coming year. And so this is CDC. It's the CDC model. So if you look at it, you guys all have a little, look at it a little closer. And so this model shows like everything that the child needs to live a healthy, happy life, right? And so a lot of the components that go with it, so if you see the child, you need the support, it needs to be engaged, safe, healthy, and it has to be challenged. And so policies are what helps keep that all together, and we have the community, obviously, all around it. So here in the SHAC, we're gonna address these different topics that we'd like to talk about. So we have the health education, physical education, nutrition education, health services, counseling, physiological, social services, and then social emotional climate, physical environment, employee wellness, family engagement, and community involvement. So these are all parts of a child's life that makes the child whole and happy and healthy. And so here in the SHAC committee, we will talk about these topics and we will give recommendations to the board on what we think would be a good suggestion for the coming school year. So Harlingen CISD SHAC mission, Harlingen CISD SHAC strives to promote sound school policies and practices that will improve and maintain the health and wellness of our students, faculty, and community members. And so that is our mission. So we're all here to make that happen. And they do have bylaws that are going to be, they're going to look at them and they're going to be changed a little bit for this coming year. But who makes a SHAC? So most importantly, we need parents. Parents are the loudest voices in the school district. And then we have district employees, because of course you are part of this district. You guys are firsthand seeing how this is happening. And then the community members, because we are also involved. And then the business owners, they're all a big part of this. So we invite you to invite other community members. If you know other parents, please invite parents. Yes?
Are students considered community members?
Yes. So yeah, that was going to say, that was one thing that is missing. Students. And actually last year we did have some students. We had a panel and we did have some students who did join us. So we're just missing students on there, and definitely invite students, bring them in. Obviously kids have a lot to say and we need to hear them. And as a staff member, what would you involve and discuss? So these are some of the important topics that we've talked about in the past. School meals, physical activity. Last year, so a little something back. I'm going to backtrack. So It's Time Texas, we've partnered with Harlingen CISD in the last couple of years, and we've built what we call school health improvement plans. This school health improvement plan, we use the tool from the CDC to assess the school in different areas, and then we give them suggestions of things that they should do. Something we suggested last year was for them to pass a recess policy for the elementary, and that is something that you guys did. And so that is something that we will keep discussing, and hopefully this year we'll continue with monitoring it or where it would go. Mental health is another one that we spoke about last year. We're trying to find different ways to help kids have an outlet for their mental health. We talked about maybe creating also a recess for middle school and high school kids, because they also need that little break. Human sexuality, we talked about that, having some concerns with parents and everything, and just having a communication, a little more education on that. Bullying prevention, recess guidelines, vending machines, suicide prevention, and virtual learning. And there's so much more. Pretty much anything you want to talk about that involves your child, we can talk about it. Yes?
What do you do to let the community members know that this is available for them, even though they're not employees of the district, they don't have kids in the district? Because before I worked with, I mean, I don't know how long this organization has been around.
The SHAC. How long it's been a mandate?
But I never heard about it until I started, actually since last year, I never heard about it. And I've been with the district that many years, and my oldest is 20, so I never heard about it. And I know a lot of people out there in the community don't know about this.
I don't know exactly how long it's been a state mandate, but yes, like I said, every time I talk to people, they're like, what is a SHAC? And so what are we doing? Us as a sometimes we are not really doing anything like specifically, but we're partnering with school districts to help them do that. And so a lot of what we're doing is education, educating parents. We do have a plan this year. So that's one of our goals. So back to work. So one of the recommendations that we've done is with the recess policy. And another recommendation we're given for this year is to strengthen our SHAC. And so that's going to be one of our goals for this year, to strengthen our parent involvement in SHAC. So together, I want to help you guys plan ways that we can do this. We need to start tabling at events, maybe giving out flyers to parents to teach them what this is. The best way to get other parents involved is by parents talking to other parents. Because the teachers will tell them best when the parent tells them that's something different. And I can explain it to them as many as you want and invite them, but it's just so much better when it's a familiar face or.
And what we did this last year and this year, what we've done in the past, right, is we email principals and tell them some parents that we would be interested in coming to SHAC and joining our SHAC community, right? So then we'll do it that way. Different community members that are like Texas Department of State Health Services. They're one of our committee members from last year as well that will be joining us this year as well. TSTC is another one that will be joining us as well, which someone will partner with as well. So then having those community members come in is a first step to bringing all of them, and then others will start. They see, and it's like, oh, I want to go, I want to participate, I want to help the school district improve in their health and wellness, and that's how we kind of bringing them in.
If I can just mention, I'm just one of those people that I need to know the answer, so I looked it up. It was 1995 for the podcast. But yes, I did receive a call from my school principal from Lamar, and I was like, oh my God, what did my kid do? But no.
That was my same thing too. I was like, which child was it? It was Adeline, wasn't it? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, I know it was not this one, but the other two, no. But also, I just wanted to mention that I am in the nonprofit sector, and I do also represent Unidos contra la Diabetes. We are a collective impact that focuses on reducing type 2 diabetes in the RTB. So we do collaborate with ITT. But I did get invited like completely separate, and it's just a coincidence that I'm here.
Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Yes, but I do want to bring up two concerns. One, the door was locked when I came in, so if there was any other people coming in or like invited, I can't imagine how they got in here. It just so happened that someone was walking out as I came in. And two, same thing. I have never heard about SHAC before, my organization, and definitely I think there needs to be a lot of push, and there also needs to be the information available in Spanish.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Definitely. So again, we're planning, we have some goals with Harlingen CISD. The other two goals that we have is to start planning and, I guess, planning to have
Events.
okay. No, the plan for the middle school and high school. Recess. So it's something that we want to start looking into, is just like start planning, like what would a recess for a middle school and high school look like?
What is that considered like in PE, or does a lot of middle schools have PE, they have athletics?
But those are structured. So PE, I mean, recess is unstructured, like that's the definition for it. And so kids, everyone, even us, we need 15 minutes of break between classes to work, just so we can, re-energize, restore. And so there's many studies showing it's very important, especially for kids, especially the misbehaved kids. They need those 15 minutes. And so we're trying to make that go to the middle school and high school as well. It might look different. Kids don't want to just go outside and recess, but it might be different. We might create like, some school districts are doing like walking trails. So like they walk and like the outdoors, recharge with some sunlight, or just like little picnic areas where they can go outside and be with their friends and talk, disconnect. Pretty much like less screen time we want.
There is currently, go ahead.
Over at Health Professions, I think we have like a 35-minute lunch period, but they have, after they finish their lunch, they can go out to the school, and our PE coach provides, equipment, footballs, soccer balls, and just
That's
go out
awesome.
there and so.
Now let's make it a
It's
policy,
right after
we can't
lunch.
take it away.
Yeah, it's right after lunch. So they have their food and they're out there. you know, so that way when they go into their afternoon classes.
Oh,
They're
sorry.
already
Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
is,
so
that
it's
is the
all-
one school I was just gonna say
Everyone's
that
small
has
community,
it,
so-
that has a recess already in their middle school, well, in middle school, high school,
When you
right?
go
So they're
small
from
communities,
well,
it's
8 through 12. So that's the one I was saying, we can use their model, and okay, how can we implement that at our other campuses as well, right? To where they have like 20 minutes to eat, because sometimes it doesn't take them that long to eat. Some kids don't even eat at all because they bring in their own snacks or, and then having that time or areas that they can have that little break.
I mean, they're out there, I mean, we had a bunch of rain, so we had to, you know, block them from going outside, and they wanted to be outside, just, you know,
They
setting
do,
those bubbles.
they come in,
They do, the kids want to be outside.
They wanna be outside.
That's something that we get back from the elementaries, that like the kids, the shade structures, they're like, oh, the elementary kids don't care if there's a shade structure, and it's a teacher, so we need the shade structures. The kids will be running out there, they don't care. But yeah, that's very true. And so, so yes, those are things that we want to work with. And the last one that we're working with is, so Harlingen CISD has a breastfeeding policy for mothers, for them to have some time to pump milk if they need to, express milk and store it. So you guys have a policy, but there's no actual practice in place. So we want to help you guys create an actual practice. So maybe creating a room where moms can go and express milk, or maybe some kind of system where they can like rent out like a kit that gives them all the things they need, like a sign for the door that says, don't come in, private time, or maybe like a little screen,
Yeah.
maybe like a little refrigerator that she can put in her room with store the milk,
Sure.
things like that. So those are some of our goals that we have with them, and anything you guys want to talk about, or, you know, we're here for that. I know that Susanna told me, she called me earlier today, and she's like, you're in the SHAC, right? And I was like, yes. She's like, I want to talk to you about the recess policy. So definitely, we're here to talk about all those things, and any way we can help keep implementing them, and resources, we're here for that. And so back to this, the SHAC consists of a chair, a co-chair, and a secretary, and each serves about 2 years. I know that we had a secretary last year, but she couldn't come anymore, and so we do have a chair, right?
Yes,
Yes, we do.
Catalina Villarami is our chair.
And then we don't have a chair.
She's
Yes,
a,
on the-
yes,
you're the
Mrs.
co-chair.
Mills
Okay.
is our co-chair. We
And
just
so
didn't have a
Miss-
secretary.
Oh, okay, so we're good with everything else.
We're good.
Oh, okay, awesome, I thought we were gonna elect someone else. Okay, so then we have our co-chair and chair, and anything else?
What are the responsibilities of the chair and the vice chair?
So the chair should help run these meetings, and the co-chair. And so they're pretty much the main point of contact for the parents. So we want these parents to be pretty much like the health champions for the SHAC. They're gonna be the parents that help us maybe table at events, recruit other parents, and help us organize these meetings. So maybe these parents can help take notes, or just make sure the agenda flows, really help Miss Olivia get all of this done. And Mrs. Smith, yes. So they are the ones that put all this together, but they wear multiple hats. So we really want this chairperson to come in and help as well.
She was running late. She was supposed to be here, right?
Yeah. But yeah, those are the roles of the chair and the co-chair. Okay, and secretary, we take notes and we submit them every time because we do put them on the website. They need to be and yeah, that is it for me.
No, I just had my.
Oh, okay.
on there 'cause I had to-
Do you guys have any questions also about the SHAC? No?
How often do we meet?
A SHAC, how often, it's up to you guys. We can talk about that today. We can plan for the next meeting. But a SHAC needs to meet 4 times a year. At least. I know other school districts that meet way more, or what they do is they have subcommittees, and those subcommittees meet at other times. So they'll have the SHAC meeting, and then they can make, like, for example, a recess, like task force, and if people are, they go and check in on the school, make sure they're doing recess correctly, they can meet certain other days.
And I think that's gonna be a great thing we can start forming once we increase our number of committee members. Because as of right now, like, I think we invited maybe about 28 members, and so our numbers aren't there for like those, a lot of subcommittees. We are gonna start, so that'll take us on to the next step, right? So Ms. Goggin is the one that introduced me to SHAC. Thank you so much, because this has been an amazing part of me being able to put my part in wherever I can help, right? Especially with health, because that's what my specialty is, right? And so then being able to do that in the community with our district, it really brings me great joy. So Ms. Goggin also, we talked about, she had asked if maybe we can do a wellness walk committee, right? A wellness walk for the district, and that wellness walk would be to not benefit, but the proceeds would go to providing a scholarship for students in the district, right? For a student in the district, and meeting criteria. So if we would be able to put together a committee, and then you would talk about, okay, what is the criteria that they would have to have in order to be able to apply for this scholarship, right? And so then once we do the walk, and then this committee will also say, okay, let's schedule the walk, let's see where we're gonna have it, put it all together, start promoting it, so that we can start getting that in, getting people sign up, right? And pay, and maybe charging what any other 5K would charge, right? It's $20, $25, something like that. And so then those proceeds we put together, and we nominate some students for, depending on the amount that it is, then how many students we would be able to provide a scholarship for, right, within the district. And of course, the committee would come together and start putting bylaws, okay, what is gonna be the criteria, when will we host this event, will we host it on the yearly basis, will it be in the fall, in the spring? So all of those things would be put together. So I do have a sign-up sheet over here, if any of you want to be part of that committee, that's gonna start planning that, okay? Is anybody, do I have a motion to approve a SHAC wellness walk? And that name can be changed as soon as you form a committee. It doesn't have to stay like that, but that's how I wanted to present it, so I knew what we were gonna discuss. Does anybody have a motion?
Motion to approve.
To approve, okay.
Right.
Ms. Goggin, is there anything you would like to add to that information that maybe you would?
Sure, and so part of the things we've heard from, the community, like I know recently I've been hearing about the Harlingen Police Department, they're planning like a 5K, and then they have proceeds, part of the proceeds I believe go to Make-A-Wish Foundation, right? So I've been hearing about that and reading about that, right, in the local newspaper. And so thinking about initiatives for our committee here, thinking about what can we do to give back to our students, kind of something along that line, to where we invite our families, their children, community, our staff members, anyone who would like to participate for this walk run, right? Not everyone has to run, but if you want to run, absolutely. If you want to walk, right? And then we determine what that trail would look like. Is it going to be a 3K, 5K, whatever it is, right? And then we determine how much will it cost to participate. And maybe we want to make it, extremely affordable, right? $5, $10, whatever it is. And then whatever proceeds we raise, that we know that would be strictly for scholarships, right? And so we could work alongside our business office, who would be able to take care of the funds, of course, and go that route, right, allowing the business office to take care of that piece for us, and then to assist us with criteria, right, for establishing how would students qualify, right, an application process, obviously, right, to apply for these scholarships. And whatever amount it is that we can assist our graduating seniors with, we know that any amount is helpful, right, and greatly appreciated. And then thinking about, volunteers for this type of event, thinking about the high school student council, clubs, and there are so many others, right? That's just one that comes to mind, right? Our drill teams, our cheer teams, our bands, right? We have students that are eager to go out and help, right? And offer water to the walkers, the runners, right? And so just thinking about like a community event, people coming together, right? HCISD, our staff, our students, their parents, and community members, and all to benefit students while we are showing what it is, to be active, right? And to maintain ourselves, right, by walking or running, whatever it is that we prefer to do, right? And so just kind of tying the two together, right? An opportunity to give back to our students while we're modeling, that being outdoors for a little while and going for a walk. So that's kind of the thought there, right? So yeah, thank you all for entertaining that, and I think we can come together, plan
We can make
something.
it happen.
We can make it happen, yeah. We won't know until we try, I would say, right? And however many participants we have, great, right? So that was the thought there. Thank you.
Is this something that's already been done before in previous years?
I don't know, not that I remember hearing about. Not for SHAC. Maybe there are other organizations, right? I remember School of Health, they had a walk, and I remember going, to participate. And so I don't remember what they were fundraising for, right? But it was one of their clubs or organizations at that campus. And so I'm sure that there are other schools that do something, right? But as a SHAC committee, what would be the first for us? This would be.
How are the district scholarships funded in previous years?
It's all their clubs and organizations.
So I'm hoping that we could, I'm just saying, like, have a more strategic plan focusing on this cycle here of work, the wellness walk, what is it connecting to here?
Sure.
So I used to do marketing for Jason's Deli, so we did a lot of runs and walks and things like that. So with Jason's, what we did is like we would go out, we would set up a booth, and we would get other communities to set out booths when we did that, which would go into this with the community. So it would be Jason's Deli would be out there, we would have water. We would have bananas, we would have oranges out there for them, and then we would give them free little like coupons that would say, hey, your kid can come eat for free for us, like with us, and then we would have other communities. So we'd have like the breast cancer people from Valley Baptist would be out there, and they would be saying, hey, come check get your monograms done. We would have different doctors' offices come out too, and we would just have them out all there so that it's different, like departments from the health department, police officers too, like, hey, like make sure you're whatever, like just so that everybody is all like together. I don't know if that.
Yes,
the whole community.
Yeah, like so everybody would go out and each of them would have like a different role. Like, hey, we're bringing water and bananas, make sure you're bringing Gatorades and apples. HEB would come out too, and they would have their little health department out there. Like, hey, these are the proteins, these are the healthy snacks that you can get, these are the non-sugars, like we'd have everybody out. So it's something that we can always look into, like when you're dealing with the community.
Love that. Thank you for that.
Okay, our next step is to develop goals for the school year for 2024 and 2025, and we need to make sure, to bring it together and see what you all want to see that we can change here in our district as far, any concerns with the kids. Like last year, one of the main things was, of course, our menus with our school district through our nutrition department. So one of the things was trying to change the way the menu, right? What we did, we went together and he brought different, a variety, a student panel, a variety of the menu of what was in the school district of the nutrition. So I think that whatever you all want to bring to the table, any ideas, anything that we can work together, and what you want to see that we can kind of come together and bring it to the table and change here within our district to, of course, help benefit the kids and the staff. So, and then the next thing would be what? The next meeting?
Next meeting, that's up to us as a committee, what we would like to.
But we can talk about what the goals that we want to set today. I mean, what is it that y'all want to change or what y'all want to bring to the table? What is it that recess was one of them, right?
Right, but I think that, although that I have 4 children in the district, I'm only one person and should just represent. So is there, I know I am representing, but is there a needs assessment or survey that has already been completed so that we're able to make data-informed decisions?
We did through the nutrition last year, and it was through the different foods that he brought at the different events that he held
But I mean, not just in nutrition, but,
overall.
right. Because I think it would be important to survey, at least send out the survey and see what results we get back so that we are making informed choices. Like, I hear, for example, the breastfeeding policy, but where did that come from? And where is like,
That came from an assessment that we did with them.
okay, so,
Yeah.
you know what
So
I
we
mean?
did,
Like,
we did an assessment in different areas, but not like all the areas, just the certain areas that we looked at.
And that's very beneficial, like to the moms. I know that the government has one, and whenever the moms need to, they use it. It's very, very used.
right, and I'm not
But-
against it.
right, no, no,
What
I
I'm
know.
saying is that,
The assessment, if we need to change that, and the need for it.
right, we should give everyone the opportunity
Uh-huh.
to voice what they feel is a need.
And that's why we meet as a council, so that way we can get feedback from you all and see what we can bring to the table and then address it. What is it that we want to see changed? You know what I'm saying? So I think we all, as mothers and grandparents and nurses and staff for the school district, and of course with SHAC Texas, we can come together and just give ideas. Okay, what is it that we want to, like the representations, like the different, like how she represented SHAC Texas, we can bring different presenters. And that's what we did last year, and they talked about the different topics of what we wanted to talk about. So what is it that you all would want to talk about, or see representatives come and presenters and come and, to our different, meetings that we're gonna set up to talk about.
So I guess another goal would be generating surveys or.
We can,
Creating a needs assessment or survey
Looking at
to
something
get
like that.
the feedback from the
The thing
parents.
is, how are you get, who's your target audience?
Well, I think the first thing would be
They were, we're not even getting them here.
to motivate, that's what I'm saying,
Right,
let's
but
motivate
it's
people and bring them together. We need more,
I'm here to do this.
we need to grow, we need to
No,
make
but
sure
You
that.
can create a survey, you can have the principal send it out, and it's up to the duration of the parent if they would like to send it, because we all get communications through Seesaw. So like, if we have Seesaw, then we can click on it, we can do the survey, and then we can get the results, but it's like, like she said, I didn't know about this program until today, like, literally last week.
In that program, do they tell you guys about these meetings?
What program?
What
And that
program?
Seesaw, the thing you said?
No, because the thing, like,
That's why the communication thing, they don't tell you guys about these?
no, they didn't tell us any, like, the only reason why I knew is because the principal called me and she asked, and I was like, okay, well, how, so I asked her, I said, what made you pick me out of everybody in the school? Like, was I selected, was it, she's like, oh, you come in and you're wearing workout clothes, and you drop off your kids. She's like, I don't mean to, put you out like that or anything. She's like, but you and your husband, you're always in gym clothes, so I assume you go to the gym. And I'm like, yes. I see your kids when you bring them, they always have healthy snacks. It's always, I'm like, yes. And she's like, so would you like to? And I was like, yes. But like she said, there's no parents know about it, like no parents at all. So we can send out something to the principal to send out to
Well, this
all
is
the parents.
I don't mind to interrupt you, but this is the purpose of why we're coming together, so we need to make it grow. So maybe we should have meetings that we can come and kind of encourage, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And this is why this step, that's what we need to talk about. What is it that y'all wanna do to make it grow? I mean,
And so that's what my goal, that
Right.
I suggested, was to grow the parents' engagement for the.
right, I think that's the first
That was
priority
my-
that we need to do,
yeah.
because that's what you wanna see, right? You wanna see grow, make sure that we bring parents together and they know, like Becky said, she wasn't aware of it. And so I think we just need to make flyers, maybe have a meeting and come together and invite parents. This is a special meeting, or organizations, like you said, and invite the students. And that way, it just depends what y'all want to see as a council, and we can bring it together and put it together and say, you know what, this is what I want to see at the next meeting. And that's the way we did the presenters last year. So, for example, human trafficking, bullying, it just depends what you all want. And so this is where we come together and work together, and this is where we can make a difference and change the different things that we want to change here in the district. I started kind of rocky, tongue twisted, it's my age, but once I get started, you know what, excuse me, it's like, you know what, I was getting nervous, but it's like.
And the council.
Yes.
I think what would help to get the word out is, obviously it's over, but like a registration.
At registration,
Have
yeah.
a booth there, just like they do back in, your child is there, and then here's your pickup schedule, and then, if you have any overdue fees or something like that, have a booth or a table with some of us there, letting the middle school and the high school parents
Right.
know, you know what, this is what we have available in our district, if you'd like to join, here's our next meeting, or I guess for next,
So
I
there
think
is
school
full
already
representation.
So maybe we can also present
If you have any
at
parents.
PTA meetings.
Those are your candidates, right?
At PTA meetings, and then maybe find a way that we can announce it.
We not
with the
meeting,
TV,
but
channel
going
four,
forward.
something.
Right, promote it,
Yeah,
right,
for the
promote it a little bit more,
community,
right.
Because
Yes,
parents
I
will
think
be
they're
on,
But like parents,
but not the community.
like this.
You know, you hear people talking about all the time, I pay school taxes and for what? I don't get a say so. So that's where the community would come in.
And you know what, and again, this is where they can come in and you know how everybody's, well, why don't they change this, right? Why are we not seeing this? And they're, you know, they have concerns. So I think that this is a good opportunity for them to come in and voice whatever concerns or whatever they want to see changed within our district. And so I think that's one of the first ones, Sylvia, is to promote and help SHAC grow with community members.
Which is,
Uh-huh.
I was thinking about the platforms that our principals have and our teachers have in which they communicate with parents, right? Through the Seesaw, the Canvas, right? The different district approved platforms. And so I think we can ask our principals to send out, say, a one-page flyer in English and Spanish of what SHAC is, what the intention is, right? What our goals are for the year, and then information about the dates of our upcoming meetings, you know, the location, the time, and that we would encourage parents to join us.
Open it up.
Right, and that they have a voice to talk about overall wellness for their children. And so maybe that would be a starting point, is that information to go out to parents so that they start to understand, well, what is SHAC, you know, so a clearly defined, a simple one-page, very friendly, like I said, English and Spanish flyer with that information, and then that welcome and an invitation, right, an open invitation. You know, you're welcome to come here, and we will have somebody standing in the door, you know, to open the door, because we know that the doors are locked for safety reasons. And so maybe that would be, you know, one way to reach our parents, is through, because they're accustomed to reviewing other information that's coming to them, right, from their teachers regarding their lessons or homework or what have you, right?
Or maybe our next meeting can be, let's all have a goal and invite 5 parents. Bring them to the next meeting, and that way they can see for themselves what SHAC is about. And I think we can grow that way. I know today is Thursday, a lot of parents have football games or whatnot, the varsity, the JV. Yeah, they're busy, so I'm sure, we had invited more parents.
So yeah, that's the thing, I think maybe we could, not necessarily pick the next 3 dates, but pick the next one. And we survey like the parents, what time, what day works best.
A lot of parents
Because I did hear that some
don't
parents have games.
Today on a Thursday
There was
doesn't work
games,
for them.
that's why they couldn't come. I did hear that.
A lot of parents work till 5. Like I left work early so that I
Yeah.
could come on time. A lot of people do work.
And I've heard of school districts who do it in the morning, because when they're dropping off the kids, it works.
Yeah, they have availability.
And I've heard parents who do it at Fridays, because Fridays is the best time. But
For
so,
them.
yeah, because
Maybe a Monday or Tuesday.
So could we make a motion? Could we identify the SMART goal, which is to be specific, make it measurable, attainable, for increasing
The growth.
but it has to be specific and it can be measurable. So what is the goal? How many parents would we like to see here in SHAC?
How many parents do y'all, I mean, we did the whole,
So it would have to be
how many?
specific, measurable, like
30 maybe, including all of us, right?
so increase the SHAC parent representation by 30.
By 30.
That's the goal.
I, 30's ambitious a lot.
I would say 20. Start small. I think so too.
But you know what, it can be a combination of parents and kids, students.
And then how many schools are in the district?
I think we have, what, 30?
29.
29. So if we could get one parent, ideally one parent from each school.
Yeah, it would make up for the.
The email was
30.
sent out, we sent it out, and sometimes they just can't come, right, and they'll send an email, okay, please verify that they will be part of the committee. Not everybody showed up today, right, but I do have a list.
Yeah, she had a long list, but I'm sure a lot of people
There's
got to
other
see.
things going on.
And
Yeah, there's a lot of games.
There's games going on today, so.
Was there other options explored, like maybe hosting Zoom as a virtual attendance as well?
That's a good idea.
So that way, they're not here physically present, but they can hear.
They can hear. But it's recorded, right? It's on the district
Yes,
website.
it's gonna be
As well.
recorded, so they're gonna be.
So that's
able
something
to-
we can promote as well?
Right, but it would be more of a live action. So
Yeah,
they
like-
can participate live.
Right, no, I know, of course. So that would be the first priority. So what else brought you all, like, for example, I know that the principal called you or whatnot, but what is it, what's one of your big concerns with it? Our school district, the kids, I mean, well, I'm sure there's a couple, but,
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, for my children, I haven't had, all my children are athletic, but one of my high school student always complains that he's starving.
you see, and that was the first one that we had last year.
Yes.
Right, so
He's
Mr. Vega?
starving, and he's always hungry, he feels like he's not fed enough. And in between, like, the practice, when school ends and practice begins, like, he just feels like if he needs something to supplement. He's so,
That's at what grade level now?
he's 11th grade, he's in football,
At high school north?
South.
South. So we do serve breakfast, we serve lunch, and they have an after-school supper program there. So he can pick up all 3 meals if he feels like it. Does he pick up supper?
No, he can't pick up supper because he goes straight to football practice.
Like right when the bell rings, they go straight to football practice?
And then also to keep in mind that if they're going straight to football, it has to be something that is right, like it's gonna benefit his physical activity. So,
Because they do have till 10 o'clock, right? That still stands to pick up lunch in the mornings?
Yeah, so that's
Breakfast?
breakfast, and then they have lunch, but she's saying that in between the bell time that it rings, he goes straight to football. We do serve
It's
supper,
hard on them, yeah.
but he doesn't pick it up because you might throw up exercising or.
it has to be something that,
Maybe their last class period, if they maybe during lunch, they can either purchase or have granola bars or apples or something that's gonna, and then don't eat it until their last class period, but then I don't know if that would be okay
Well,
with
in
the teachers.
supper we do serve vegetable, we serve fruit, and we serve the entree, so he could eat whatever he can, like if it's the apple, the banana that day, drink the juice, the milk. He doesn't have to eat the entree, he could take it with him.
but he's not allowed to go that way because he has to report straight to football practice. And then in the beginning of the school day, their practices start like at 5:30.
Yeah.
So they're out there and sometimes they miss getting breakfast as well. And then on top of that, some of the
breakfast
items.
is delivered to the field house. So we feed like 200 and something kids. We take the cart out there, it's delivered, so he shouldn't miss breakfast. Or lunch, right? It's the supper, I can see how it's a problem, but not because it's not available to him, it's just he doesn't have the opportunity to walk towards to pick up his supper. Well, I can talk to the ladies there, we can deliver to the field house, right? We've done that before, but if they're not gonna eat it, it's just we're gonna take it and they're just not gonna eat it.
So why aren't they eating
Yeah, so is it the taste, is it, because we do have 150 something kids participating.
it? Right, you can't meet everybody's,
Yeah.
what they desire or want to eat, but at the same time, this is like something that I hear across the board from all of my kids. I've been sent a picture of their lunch and, it's not, like, I'm, like, don't get me wrong, like, of
This is
course,
what
there's
we-
always like.
This is what we want. No.
Like, we're grateful, of course, they're getting a meal, but at the same time, sometimes some of these meals are not even like culturally relevant. One of my kids got like a pita with like the tomato sauce on it, and that was their lunch.
But where, it was at an
That was at
elementary
Lamar.
or?
That was at Lamar
Pita
Elementary.
with a tomato.
Looked like the tomato sauce on it,
Yeah, I don't have a recipe that's like that though.
so where is it coming from?
So this is good. This is what we want.
Yes.
I did come with a date. I know we said just one to schedule the next meeting. Could we try to schedule for November as well? Just because I do want to do Taste the Flavors of
Yes.
ACISD again. I'm aiming for November, and then I welcome you to come bring your kids, right? That's what we did last year. We told parents to come, bring the students. Everybody went out there, they tasted it, we get feedback, and yeah, this isn't good, or this is great, or you know what, I didn't like any of it, or I want to see more of this on the menu. So I'll have it at Annex again, same setup. We'll do 4 or 5 recipes
You can bring your kids.
that are currently on the menu. and that way they can go out there and give us feedback. So besides scheduling October's meeting, I like to schedule November's, if we can, right, like tentative, so I can set that up. But yes, that's good feedback. I'll go out to Lamar, and that's what we do. Send supervisors, we go out to Lamar, we see what's being served.
My pobrecitos, now they're gonna get in trouble.
No,
No, my kids complain all the time about the school too. Like, they don't eat the breakfast, they don't eat the lunch, and I pick them up, and my son, he has soccer as soon as he gets out. It's Monday through Saturday, he has nothing but soccer, but, you know, I pick him up, and he's like, Mom, I'm so hungry, and I'm like, you didn't eat at school? He's like, oh, I didn't like the food.
Yes,
I'm like, okay, well, what is it that you ate? And then I'll ask him, like, what did you have for breakfast? He's like, oh, well, I had cereal, but dry cereal. I'm like, okay, well, why didn't you have the milk? And he's like, oh, well, I don't like the milk. It's 'cause I guess you guys serve whole milk?
No, we don't serve whole milk at all. No.
What milk do you guys
1%.
serve? Okay, so they drink almond, so it's
Fat-free
my fault,
1%
because I give them almond milk.
chocolate milk. So
they
that's
don't
what you
like
see,
that too.
the taste buds are different, right?
Yeah.
We also had the students come in, parents enjoyed the food, students didn't. Students enjoyed certain items, parents didn't. So it also comes down to taste buds, so just saying that they didn't like the food isn't very helpful.
That's why I asked him, like,
That-
what is it that you didn't
that-
like? He's like,
that
oh,
is
well,
helpful
the
information.
muffin. I'm like, okay, well, what was wrong with it? Like, was it hard? Was it cold? Like, what was wrong with it? Oh, well, I don't like because it has blueberries. I'm like, okay, well, just pick the blueberries out. Like, well, they used to give us chocolate ones, and they don't give us the chocolate ones anymore. I'm like, okay, well, this is a different school year, okay? Like, what was wrong
We
with
have
the
different
cereal?
menu cycles, so the chocolate one may be on the next menu cycle.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, what was wrong with it? My son, oh, well, I didn't like the food. Okay, well, what was wrong with your lunch? Tell me about it. And I'll ask them those questions so that I know, so that, like, okay, well, I know that on Thursdays, they get this every single Thursday, and they're not gonna eat. So I'm gonna bring them food, or I'm gonna pack something for them. So, like, that's what I ask, just so that I know that I'm aware, like, yes, they are eating, or no, they're not eating. And some other things that I don't like is that I'll say, what did you do at PE? Oh, well, it was an option. It was an option if we wanted to do something in PE, so I just sat down. Like, what do you mean it's an option? Like, you're supposed to be running around, you're supposed to be
Like
exercising, you're
physical
supposed to do those things. Why is it an option? Oh, well, Adeline, she did the jumping jacks, but they told us that we didn't have to if we didn't want to. So I sat down, I didn't participate today. Like, no, it's not an option. You need to be physical, so get up, do their jumping jacks, do the things that your teachers tell me to. That's the way I see it. So I don't understand why it's an option.
Mr. Vega, do you keep a number of the kids, the students that don't pick up the tray? Is there like a,
So not that don't, we do track participation. So I
Right.
will tell you that middle schools and high schools are our lowest breakfast participation, around 30%, which is very low, right? They're also our lowest participation in lunch, which is about 55%.
the high schools, how about the high schools? Because I know my daughter says, our table doesn't go and pick up our food.
Yeah,
I
so,
said, what?
so they're
They
at
do the a la
55%.
carte.
They're at 55%.
They're-
So
oh,
those are
wow.
topics that I would like to talk about because
Uh-huh.
competitive foods are being sold, competitive foods are being brought in from the outside. So all of that, of course, I'm gonna want wings over what I have in school, or pizza over what I have in school.
But not only that, now at the high school, they have to sign in, and there's a waiting time, like 20 minutes before, so what? So now a lot of the parents cannot go drop it off because they don't wanna have to go and get off.
Yeah, so that's helped.
That changed, so it's harder because now they're not even eating outside food because of the time that it, you know.
So that's helped a little bit. Our participation last year was like 42, 43%. It's 55 this year for high school, and I think that's a big reason why, right? Because they're making it more difficult to bring food from the outside in.
But they're not eating that, to me, I think we need to find the balance, because they're not picking up their lunch, but then now the parents, well, we're not gonna get off, or we're not gonna go take your lunch because you have to wait those 20 minutes before, or you have to go sign in and whatnot. And so what happens, the last time we missed it by I don't know how many minutes, because we didn't know the new rule. And so my daughter, Denise, my older daughter, she took pizza for my daughter, and so they didn't wanna give it to her. And so then she goes, we had no choice, but we had already eaten, so we were gonna either throw it away. And so she says to the security guards, here, y'all want it for you guys? If not, it's going straight to the trash. And so it was sad to see that, right? But then the security, I guess they felt bad because the girls were still lunch. And thank God for great securities, they make sure that they didn't eat.
Yes,
So we're very grateful to, regardless, I mean, they kind of bend it a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't want to see that, but I mean, it was either in the trash or the girls eat.
So I guess another goal would be to, I guess, have another survey for the menu again, like.
They
we did
need to
last
eat,
year.
in other words.
We can, so yes, we
Yes.
want to see how we can increase participation, not by force, right? We don't want to force anybody to eat,
Sure.
but we want to see how we can increase it because they like the food.
Yes.
Right, because I know you mentioned healthy, right?
Right.
If we let them bring something from the outside in, it's
It's
not healthy.
never healthy.
And
It's
so,
always Whataburger,
how
always
can we-
McDonald's. Like
yeah, how
that's
can we
not-
serve them healthy food, but food that they like, that they enjoy? What do they want to see on the menu? So that's a big thing that we're working towards in high schools, right? Because of participation.
Well, we want them to
stuff.
be academically successful, so they need to eat, no matter what.
Yes.
So I think that should be the main purpose, that our children don't go without eating, because,
Yes.
and then, I mean, of course, we want them to eat the school food, but you're not gonna make them, not at the high school level, it's hard.
Yeah.
You understand
Yeah,
what I'm
yes,
saying?
I agree, but if we try to get
If it's
something
tasty.
that they like,
Yes.
then they'll eat it, right? We're not gonna make them, they're gonna say, hey, I enjoy this menu item. So in elementary, our participation is pretty high because we do breakfast in the classroom. So that's really sustaining our program. It also has to do with,
That's good.
reimbursement and trying to, if we don't get reimbursement, well, we don't have funds to reimburse into our students, right? We can't purchase the items or different items or better items. But in elementary, we do a good job of targeting them. I know some kids aren't gonna like the food, right? But just going breakfast in the classroom, we're close to like 80% participation in all our 17 elementaries versus 30% in our secondaries.
So in the secondary schools, what's your target percentage? What do you want to? what would you
So
like to see?
those are goals. I need to sit down
Okay.
and talk with my team, right? Because can I double it in a year? Can I, like, I don't know if I can double it in a year or 15-20% is more realistic. I gotta sit
Yeah,
down.
absolutely. I mean, as
see
a
the
committee, we
numbers.
want to come alongside and maybe
Yeah.
increase that. If it's
So-
only 55% at the high school, that's.
If I can just add, we worked with other school districts with similar problems, where specifically breakfast participation needed to increase. I think a number we saw that was realistic was 25%.
Increase.
And I think one of the best strategies that we've seen is being very creative about student engagement around food. So having student panels tasting the food, giving their opinion, maybe having like students name a recipe, having students create their own campaigns around promoting like the healthy food option. Might even be the same exact food, but because the students feel like they're a part of it, their whole opinion of it changes. And I think there's like a lot of success stories in that that kind of area. And so we can look into like our research and our school partners and give you all some ideas.
Yes, that would be good.
So maybe that would be a goal that we could identify for SHAC would be to increase whatever number you are able to commit to. The meal participation, that way our kids are fed and
Of course.
healthy.
So we,
My-
growth and
My concern with breakfast is, my student diabetic is no longer in elementary, he's 7th grade now. But from 1st grade through 5th grade that I had him there, the breakfast menu was all carbs. So I'd have to count his carbs, give him his insulin, and then he'd drop, because it's all carbs. From the menu that I was given, it was a pan dulce, I can't remember, but it was a lot of carbs. So you look at the carb count of the breakfast menu, it's a lot of carbs. There's not a lot of protein. And so I don't know, I don't know if we could do scrambled eggs or bacon or ham.
Now
or
you're
sausage.
talking.
There's protein cereal, I don't know how, there's protein noodles, there's protein cereal, there's a lot of different things that have that you can substitute for certain things that you guys get,
Yes.
I don't know, what the budget is or how you guys go
That
about
has nothing to do with
those
budget, so that federally funded, Region 1 does a bid, and they bid out Labatt won this past year, this past cycle, so we can only get items that are on their listing, right, on their listing from a certain vendor. If I go outside, I have to get 3 quotes, I have to do my own bids. And let's say I bring that protein noodle and I want to add it to the bid, they only allow a 10% increase. So if we add it for Harlingen or somebody already added something else, we can't increase that PO for the region, right? So it's a first come, first serve. And sometimes we're trying to add an item and it just, the PO has been increased, that's it, there's no more room.
And Mr. Vega, does that vendor, like Labatt in that example, do they have items that are more protein-based or not necessarily?
So that's because we have a lot of special diets, that's the other thing we're working on. We wanted to go more clean label, but right now with the changes, nobody has really gone that route in child nutrition. So it's very difficult to, they went the whole wheat, the whole grain because of the laws changed in 2012, I believe, everything changed. But the United States wasn't ready for that, right? It was from one year to the next, they remove all the good tasting stuff, and they just go whole wheat, whole grain, more veggies, and it's real bland. We also have sodium restrictions. So even if I bring something in, the sodium, there's 3 targets. We've already surpassed the first target, we're on the second target. So it's a limit of 1,000 milligrams or 1,200 milligrams of sodium. If you don't salt something, it doesn't taste good to us, right? We're not used to that, because as soon as I go home, I had Domino's Pizza, Papa John's, Little Caesars, wings, whatever it is, right? Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, and in order to cleanse your palate, it's got to be, like 7 to 10 days before you can actually taste the flavor in foods. So that kid comes to school, he's going to eat something that tastes bland to them. That may not be, they just can't get the flavor of the veggie or the fruit.
There's a lot of seasonings that you can use that have no salt intake.
Yeah, so we've tried Mrs. Dash, we've tried different seasonings. That's where we did the beef barbecue burgers. We did it with a no salt seasoning. It's just, there's a lot of rules and hoops we got to jump through that makes it very difficult when manufacturers aren't producing these items for child nutrition. So I do agree what we've done here is we did the taste testing last year. Some of them were the same items that we serve. We presented them different. We put them into the bowls, into salads, and kids liked it. We got a lot of positive feedback. And like you said, it was the same thing presented different. The kids felt different because they gave feedback and input. So what we notice is trends, right? Like the pho bowls, the ramen bowls, all of that. We've looked into woodles, which is a whole grain, whole wheat noodle. We're bringing 4 pallets of that in. We're going to try that at the high schools. We'll present it in a bowl, get chicken broth, beef broth. You can have either chicken or beef or a veggie style bowl. A lot of kids are heating up their ramen right now at the high schools. Their ramen. So maybe going that way, them seeing that setup, they'll leave their ramen at home and come and eat with us, right? But it's just targeting the trend that's happening currently, because if you don't keep up with it, the students won't participate in those meals.
I have a suggestion, or would you be able to bring in a group of cafeteria staff?
Oh yeah, that's what I was just, well, that's what I was talking to Miss Tanya. Yes, I'll bring them in. I don't want to bring them in as cafeteria staff. I want to bring them in as part of the community. A lot of them have children at school. So I would like to bring them in and just invite them so they can be a part of it, to hear y'all's feedback, right? But as a parent, to be on that side and say, yeah, my child doesn't eat, or my child does consume the meals, or...
Yeah, but my child, like she or her, or him or her, are facing my child when the food is being served. So I would like for them to come in as the cafeteria staff as well, because I want to hear what they have to say. What are they seeing about our kids liking or not liking, or the comments or about the food, or what is not working for them, or what is working for them.
I'm sure they can give recommendations
we
as a
could.
parent. Yeah, right.
We could bring in a couple. You want to hear from managers? You want to hear just from staff?
Like all around, I think everybody, not everyone, right, but someone representing each
Elementary, middle school, and high school. So it could be a person from each grade level.
But the front line, in other words.
Right, I think it would work better, like one from elementary, middle school, and then high school.
So if we give them an opportunity to speak, that would be good. I wouldn't want the questions towards them or bashing towards them. I'll take
Okay.
the negative,
Right.
but only
For them
because,
to present.
only because they have no
No control?
control. If I say serve this, that's what's gonna be served, right? The menu planner says serve this, they have no control, so they can't change that for anybody. But yes, if y'all wanna hear the feedback, that would
That would
be,
be awesome.
yes, sir.
So we can do the way we did the student panel, right? That we had a set of questions. What's your favorite food? What's your least favorite food? And we heard back from them as that aspect, right? But it wasn't for us to like, over question them, right? But it would be the same thing if we brought in a panel of child nutrition employees, right? And then we have a set of questions that just get set for their feedback,
Yes.
right? We can do the same thing in
Oh,
that
we can
aspect.
do
Would
that.
that be okay?
That would be nice.
How does it work? Like, so my daughter, she says that sometimes she'll ask the cafeteria people, like, oh, well, I don't want that one, I want that one. And they'll be like, no, you need to take this one.
But
She's
it's-
like, oh, but I don't like the pepperoni, I only like the cheese pizza. And she'll be like, oh, well, you have to get that one, grab that one. And like, she'll grab it because they're telling her she has to grab it, but then she ends up not eating it because she doesn't like the pepperoni, she wants the other one, but they tell her she can't have it.
So that shouldn't happen. That is a big no. That's why we have the options. We, on the other end, should be asking, do you want this one or do you want this one? Would you like green beans? Would you like broccoli? Would you, like, we should ask them what they want, right? And then offer the fruit as they go by as well. We should never say, oh, this is all we have.
Yeah, because she'll be like, well, I wanted it, but Grayson got the cheese one, and they told me I had to get the pepperoni. And then Grayson will be like, oh, I gave her half of mine, Mom. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I tell him, like, well, you didn't ask. Well, I did ask, but she told me no. She told me I had to get this one. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so those are more,
Towards the school.
that's a different issue. You
Okay.
can contact me at the child nutrition office. I'll give you my information and we'll go and assess what's going on there.
That has happened at my campus, but let's say he and I are together in line, right? And I get the pepperoni and he already got the cheese, and then he changes his mind, then it can't go back in the line. His cheese pizza now has to stay on his tray because he already touched it, he already has it on his plate, so they can't put it back in there for somebody else. So maybe, I don't know, that's what's happening, but I've seen that, because I'll go to the cafeteria and see what the kids are eating, and,
And what cafeteria are you at?
I'm sorry?
What cafeteria or what store are you at? Bonham.
Bonham Elementary.
Yes, so that's, sometimes that may happen, right? That shouldn't happen either. I even tell our ladies that if a kid drops a tray or takes a bite into the pizza and says it's overcooked or it's cold, it's undercooked, swap it out. We have ways of marking that, hey, you know what, we disposed of because it was cold or undercooked or overcooked. They should never feel that they can't come back and talk to our cafeteria staff and ask for a different tray, right? So my apple was, or my banana wasn't ready or ripe. Can I switch it out? Yes. We'll throw that away. We'll give you a fresh fruit, right? So they should always be able to go back and hearing the feedback is good, right? I'll send the supervisor to assess Lamar, to assess Bonham, to see what we're actually doing, because also like the customer service goes a long way, right? Maybe that's why kids don't want to eat because, well, I just get this. But if you have great customer service and they feel welcome, here, let me take what you don't want, let me give you what you do want. And that will increase their participation.
So, I just have a quick question too. I can't recall if it was this year or last year, but my son said that the whole first week of school, they ran out of food. What happened?
Is that at a high school or middle school or? So, I don't know what happened last year. This year, we did have an incident, right, that it was a big thing. We had all 5, 6 supervisors at High School North because they were saying we were running out of food. It was all over social media. Going to do our assessment, and even previous days, they did not run out of food, right? They ran out of options in the serving line. So it was the serving lines that are furthest away. They have 4, 6, 7 serving lines at high school. We plan to open another 2. But the furthest away is called the lineup, where it's just 2 lines. At high school, I think we have up to 8 options of food. So there was enough food, but the main entree, which kids want the most, ran out, and there was only the other 6 options, right? And we got blasted on social media. Parents were on a certain app, which was sent to me, links and all this stuff. But when we went out to do our assessment, they never ran out of food. It was the main entree that ran out. So they didn't completely run out. And that might have been the misunderstanding between a student and I'm not saying the kids lied, right? Because if it's my child, I'm gonna hear their story and everything. And it's just a misunderstanding of, did they completely run out? Or did they run out of the option that you wanted? Yes. So, with that said, we went out there, we tried to correct the problem, which I believe we've corrected it to this day. And we put more options out, and we're willing to take the loss. And that then goes back to food waste, right? Everybody's concern is food waste. But if I don't overproduce, then everybody's saying, you don't make enough food. So I decided to take the cut on food waste and overproduce, but I don't want you to run out at this line or any other line, and I'll take the loss in the food waste.
And so that food gets thrown away?
Yes, and then that's where we get parents, what do you do with the food? Can we donate it? Can we this? Can we that?
Go back to this, we're community, and so if my parent, my grandparent, my neighbor's hungry, that still affects the child.
Yeah, yes, and I agree, but this is where we get to the situation where federal guidelines, I can't do anything about the food. If I overproduce 500 meals, I can't take it home, my staff can't take it home. The only way it can be done, and we've gone through it before, right, is that like the food bank can take the donation, but I don't drop it off. They go pick it up. We batch cook, so I might have 10 overproduced burgers, right, and 15 pizzas at another school. Food bank doesn't want to go pick up 10, 15, 5, 20. We never overproduce 500 meals or 100 meals, so it doesn't benefit them. And we tried to partner with them before, but they won't make the trip to 30 schools just to pick up a handful of meals.
Is that the food bank or is that Ghost and Fishes?
Yeah,
I think
there's
it
only
was food.
our GB food banks all over the county.
Right.
How about
But it's
at
only
shelters,
that-
like
that
homeless
they-
No,
shelters?
we can do somebody else.
Like homeless shelters, like Ghost and Fishes. Because they have a food service, but they run out of food.
So if they're willing to go pick up meals, and we can see we can partner with them. But like I said, we batch cook, so I'm never gonna give them 100 meals. I'll give them 5 meals here, 10 meals there, maybe 20 at most, because we never overproduce. We batch cook. First lunch is coming from 10:30 to 11, we're gonna cook so many. And 11:15 or 11:30, we're gonna cook so many, so that we don't overproduce. Yeah.
Wait, I thought you said.
Yeah, at high school, that was how I resolved at high school. I allowed them to overproduce probably 20, 30 meals, just so that they don't run out. But at every campus, they don't overproduce, but 5, 10, 15 meals.
So what is the rule or the law that you're saying, the donation of the food has to go to a nonprofit?
A nonprofit, like the food bank, and I can look in to see if it's the Loaves and Fishes that's willing to come and pick it up.
Or like a nonprofit organization that's serving like food insecurity?
I can look that up to
Because
see.
there's also like,
That's us.
that's also like La Posada, there's a lot of organizations that within the community that are serving meals to the homeless or to serving the neighborhoods that are.
Yeah, and I can have all that information. Now it's up to the organization to go pick it up. Yeah.
I
And
feel
most,
like that, those fishes, they're right here, they would come. They would go pick
for the few meals.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they're that
we
desperate.
could try it, if it's allowable, we could try it and see how long they're willing to drive around and pick up meals.
The items that are not like warm meals, right? Like let's say the graham crackers, the apples, the bananas, fresh fruits, right? Like if the student doesn't eat it, I know a long time ago we used to have a sharing table. So let's say I didn't eat half of my food, and whatever, maybe the personnel who's watching, who's monitoring the students in the cafeteria,
Yes.
once, because it would break my heart, because I would go in there and all these kids are they're putting their trays back in the line and it's just getting tossed, like sealed apples that are still sealed, you know, a little bag of grapes that are still sealed. And like my old grandma was like, you know how many people are starving under the road, you're throwing away. But back then we had a sharing table, so whatever didn't get eaten, and it was still sealed, obviously, would go on the sharing table. And then at some point in time, you know, if a student, you know, needed a snack, you know, they could go and just grab it, or at the end of the day, I don't know how we could distribute that food.
They have it at the high school, I saw it yesterday,
So-
it's
No,
sharing
the
table.
sharing tables are back.
They're back, you don't have it, maybe it's with the principal then?
I've asked her and she was gonna talk to our manager, but it didn't seem like it was something that could happen.
Yeah, no, so it can happen. I think we stopped it during COVID time, right? And a little
Yes,
bit
I
after.
remember that.
But, yeah, sharing tables are still allowable. They're not run by child nutrition though. So, I know some of the concerns, and, the president or the chairs from Gutierrez, or her sons from Gutierrez, and she had mentioned that they have a sharing table. And they're big advocates for it, right? But if I don't want my milk, I put it out there. Child nutrition is no longer responsible once it crosses that line, right? It's up to the principal and his staff, so he needs to figure out who's a para, a teacher, who's gonna oversee that. Who oversees temperature, right? So if I'm a student, I go pick it up, I get sick, oh, they served me something that was bad, but it was off the sharing table. Apples, grapes, bananas can be put there, entrees can be put there, and any student can pick it up. The other thing we were seeing is custodians were going to pick it up. Nurses were going to pick it up to store it for students.
For students who wanted a snack.
And all of that's against, it's a very, it's not that I don't want to do it. All of that's against our federal guidelines. So when the auditor comes in here, he can say, hey, you know what, we're no longer going to fund you for this campus because you need to pay back because so much was taken. So it's not up to me. Even at the end of the food service time, all that food, if no student took it, it needs to get thrown in the trash. Yeah, so that's food waste, and that's what we're talking about. We overproduce, or we make more, or we have a lot of food waste. If we try to hit the mark and our entrees aren't enough, then parents are calling and saying, my child didn't eat because you ran out of food. It's like, I did not run out of food. That option wasn't there because we cooked less of it. There were still other options. Yeah, so it's a very difficult situation where we've been trying to sort it out. So all the feedback is welcome. We'll continue to do the taste of flavors of HCISD. We'll get the feedback, the surveys, and improve the menus, right, as best we can with the student feedback. I would like to mention that we did partner with the Transition Academy students, and they'll be going to the expo. I know we've taken the student advisory board out there, but the Transition Academy students are working in our kitchens. It's part of the curriculum. They're working in our kitchens at High School North and High School South, and they'll be going to the expo food show at South Padre Island with either our menu planner or one of our coordinators, so that they can give us input and feedback on menu items that they'll get to taste at that expo.
That's a wonderful And it helps that you're explaining where all this food waste goes, because, you know, everybody thinks, oh, it's the campus or it's the district, but it's not. It's helpful now that you've explained that it's a federal issue, you know, like we can't take these things, and so it has to get thrown.
Yeah, so even for our staff gets a free meal, right, for the work that they do. It's only the portion size the student has. And they can't save anything. They can't save a juice, they can't save an apple to take home to walk outside with, because we'll lose funding. The auditor comes in here and says, hey, that's not part of the guidelines, we can remove the funding or pay back. And it's happened to districts where they just had to pay back because the way they were handing out the food was improperly, and they just had to pay $1 million or $250,000, whatever it was, right? Or they'll take your funding monthly. We get reimbursement monthly, we just get clean for 6 months until we pay it back, and then we can start claiming our funds back. Yeah, so that's a lot of guidelines, right? So I will go as far as we can go, right, within the guidelines. And I think the best bet is having these tastings, right? Having student feedback, surveys, changing the presentation of items and keeping up with trends, right? That's what the students will help us do is, I want to see it in this cup or in this bowl, or I want to see it this way or that way.
That's a great idea.
I would like for you to maybe present like the option to survey the cafeteria staff and allow them to express their opinions freely, anonymously, because most of the time it's the frontline workers that have the best solutions. And so if we're hosting like a panel discussion here, they may not want to be as vocal because of.
So would you prefer, can we come up with some questions that you all want to know, ask? I'll send it, I'll get their feedback unanimously. I can present the findings in the next meeting and say, hey, this is even coming from our staff saying, this is not a good menu item, this is a good one, their kids don't eat. Like whatever questions you want to know, my staff won't be targeted or pinpointed or anything, but I can present the findings. Yes. So would you all like to, I don't know if we have time, or if you want to do it in an email thread, send me 10 questions, is 10 questions enough?
Yeah, maybe we can put your email up on the board and then we can have
Yes,
the
let
members,
me
the members
write
of the
it out.
committee who would like to send you an email.
In blood. Do we have an expo marker?
I think there's one on the other side.
See, I'm all nervous already.
So I'm not nervous, Mr. Mayor.
No, I'm just
Very,
kidding.
very helpful information.
Thank you, I know. It's not a meeting without Mr. Vega.
Every meeting, he's like, dynamite, right?
They're super helpful, we appreciate
So then for right now, we have goals for next meeting. We have growing our SHAC, right? Ways that we're gonna increase our participation, our committee. What I do want to share is that we also want to make sure we are gonna agree on a number of committee members, because we can't have it too big either, because, I mean, you saw just with this many members here, how much it can extend our time, right? And we value your time, so we want to make sure we keep it at a good number of members, right? And so we'll come up with a plan of how many members we're gonna want to have, a maximum, right? And then our second goal we have is a panel for the food survey, which we've done this year will be our third annual student panel. And food tasting was last year, was the first time. So we'll continue with our food panel survey. That'll be a goal that we'll discuss as well. And then, of course, increasing our percent of meal participation. That's the goal that's included with that food panel, that student panel. And then that's about it, right? And then our cafeteria employee, either panel or we're gonna do the survey. And we'll go ahead and email those questions.
I do have a quick question. I know we're coming to an end and to close, right? But, ma'am, how do we, I need to make changes to the wellness policy, and I know we all need to vote on that. So at some point I need to present on that. But how do we, when is it going to, when is the policy going to the board again? Is it at the end of the year?
So we have policy audit committee meetings at least 3 times a year, where we take policy updates to the board and ask for their consideration to amend policy. At this point, we do not have a meeting scheduled. You know, at this time, we had our last meeting in August, but it's at least 3 times a year. But it may be a perfect opportunity at our next meeting for you to bring forward what you would like for the committee to review. We have an opportunity for that dialogue, input from the committee, and so that we have it ready, so that when the policy and audit committee meeting is planned, then we have it ready for the agenda.
Okay. Yes.
So make the highlights and the and show us.
Yeah,
the
so what I think is easier, I'll highlight, but what I think is easier, I'll show the current policy. I'll type out the new policy with the highlighted changes, and that way we can just compare. And then we can vote, right? Which, I'm not making this stuff up, it's part of legal and local, but I just don't think the support is there, and we discussed this before, right, from principals and staff, and we need something to stand on and say, hey, it's in writing, this is the route we're gonna go.
All right, that's very important.
And this garden is real good, so I'm not talking about this garden.
Mr. Vega, is that something you want to present at the next meeting, or?
Yeah, I can present it at the next meeting, when I present the findings. Okay.
I have a special request. At ITT, are you involved in every meeting?
Yeah,
Or
we come with this.
is there any way that you could present on strategic planning and forming goals, the SMART goal? That way there's an understanding of why the goals need to be worded a certain way to be able to measure if there is any success or impact.
Yeah, we can do that, but not next month.
Because we're forming our goals, but it needs to be.
Yeah, measurable, attainable. I agree. For the wellness policy too, right there. Yeah, so I can do that. Do we have a date for next month?
Okay, what's more, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when is it more convenient for everybody?
Yeah, like it's still football season, so that's what I was thinking. I don't think people.
So
come.
Monday or Tuesday, what works for y'all?
So we're looking at maybe
October.
October, towards the end of
Okay, so
October?
nothing like
Yeah, I would
Thursday,
say
Friday.
October.
In the
Okay,
proposal?
so we're gonna have October break, right?
Yes.
The third week.
So it'd be after.
Today's the 19th, so October, you said maybe the 10th, or do you wanna see it?
But that's a Thursday,
That's a
That's
Thursday.
so that would be a little.
How about a Tuesday? Does Tuesday work for everybody?
That
Maybe
Tuesday
after,
is
after the fall?
Yeah, after the
Maybe
fall break.
After the fall break?
What's this for you? Do you find it?
So the 22nd would be
No,
the
How about the
but,
21st?
21st on a Monday?
I wanted
Are
to do
Mondays
the
okay?
taste
Is
of
Monday okay with
flavors on
everybody?
Is a
November
Monday okay?
6th, which is
Okay.
just like the next
Monday
week
okay?
over.
So October 21st?
Monday, October 21st, is that okay with y'all? Or is Tuesday better?
Yeah,
And for the
I just need
and then he needs to
I'll
schedule
make everything else.
So it's not that it's not okay. The Taste of Flavors of HCISD, I wanted to do it on November 6th, so
Okay.
that would be the next meeting. I also don't want to postpone the findings and postpone what we just talked about, right? So I don't know,
So November, aim for a November meeting?
but if we do that,
It has to be in October, right?
I want to do the Taste of Flavors.
Oh.
So the October meeting needs to be sooner, before the break, or if y'all are okay with having back-to-back meetings, like one in October and then one the first week of November.
That's fine. Yeah, we can have it
I'm
early
like, I don't
November,
like,
because then we have we have Thanksgiving break.
That
So-
would work.
Okay, so that's.
So, yes.
Before fall break.
Monday yes.
That's, yeah, the Monday.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
Oh, no,
I
no,
think
no,
we're
when we
gonna
come
agree
back,
to
the
keep
Monday
on
we come
with
back is fine if you're okay with having back-to-back meetings.
Oh, okay.
then.
Yes.
October 21st.
So October 21st, on Monday's okay?
Can somebody create a roster with, just like a picture of the person, like me, parent, this is my email, you know what I mean, like I
Like the
wanna.
one I have up there? that
Right,
you
but
signed
like
it?
with like a roster with a picture and like
With
the
the picture.
title, like I just wanna get familiar with community.
Everybody who's here.
Yeah.
Right.
No, maybe November.
I think I do right.
Yeah, from high school.
Okay, we went to high school.
You know.
Meeting at 4:30?
4:30, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Uh,
October 21st, 4:30.
We can vote on that, I mean, what's the name? Okay.
And this 4:30 work for everybody?
Is 4:30 good for everybody?
And so then.
Or, I know you
At
mentioned,
4:30 is usually the time.
Okay.
Yeah, 4:30.
I just want to bring other parents.
Mr.
As long as I
Vega,
can
for
have it.
November is November 11th?
For the taste test?
That's a Monday.
yeah, so I can't do it on a Monday for the taste testing, I need to get prepared with the staff, right? So I
What
was
works for
aiming
you?
for a Wednesday if that's available, maybe even a Tuesday if y'all want to do it sooner in the week.
Okay, the 12th or the 13th?
That would work.
I think, is the board meeting on the 12th, Ms. Cobbins?
Can we do it? Oh, yes, that
What
would
will
be the board
the
meeting.
second Tuesday of the
Okay,
month?
so
Can we
then
do
the
it
13th?
the 13th? Is
So the
everybody okay
13th?
with the 13th?
I'm not available.
No?
We have a conference.
So you see, and I would like for you to come with your kids because it's gonna be the taste of flavors. And if we do it on the 14th, that's deep into football season,
Right.
Definitely, yeah.
that won't work, people won't come.
And then we have the Thanksgiving break the following week. And you need it before, right? You want it? or-
Yeah, I would like to do it before,
No, Thanksgiving is not till the 25th.
yes,
to the
but it's a
29th.
Wednesday,
Right.
and you're not available any Wednesday?
No, specifically that Wednesday, we have an annual conference that I'm,
So can we do it the 6th? Would you
and
come
then
the
I
6th?
have a leadership class
On the 6th?
on Wednesdays until December, from 5 to 7.
So what
What about November 7th?
The 5th is a, not
It's a
work.
Thursday, it's because they have.
Oh, because football has to go.
I can do it.
Yeah, I'm fine with doing it Thursday, I just don't know how much participation we'll get on a Thursday, like this is a Thursday, right? Am I off on my days? Okay, so then,
So-
November 7th?
Oh, we had just the 13th.
Oh,
Do y'all want to vote on it, or, I mean, we can vote on it, or,
How many want the 7th?
how many
Yeah.
want the
Raise your
7th?
hand.
What
Can
day
we
is
see
seven?
a show of
November
hands?
7th?
The 7th is a Thursday, and then the 13th is on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I'd rather the 7th.
Okay.
And then the 13th, how many want the 13th? One, two, doesn't matter. There you go. The 13th, one, two, three, it's even.
What about?
Vanessa, did you vote?
I vote for the 7th now.
Yeah, because it's.
And he's
okay.
gonna be doing.
Yeah, since you're gonna be
everything
doing
for
the, I guess, well,
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
not me, but.
Well, no, but you're gonna present,
but you're gonna.
because it's a must, you need it
So,
that
so what we
week
can
before,
do
right?
is, yes, I can get a room there at Annex, we can have the SHAC meeting at Annex,
Uh-huh.
and then we can walk down and do taste the flavors at 5:30 or at 6, when it's open to the community and everything will be ready and set up already. So we can still have our regular meeting, there can be other things on the agenda, but at 5:30 or 6, whenever we're done with the meeting, we can go downstairs and taste the flavors of KCIC, right?
Perfect.
So meanwhile, are you all going to work on flyers to bring more parents in, or who's gonna be?
We'll work
Okay.
on it.
So what's the deadline for that, and who is we?
So that's something that we need to work on.
I can do it. I can work on the flyer and again send out. Okay, Ms. Jessica Elena, okay, thank you.
We'll be sure to
That's
send
why I
out
wanted that here.
the next 2 weeks.
Perfect.
So, you got that? I just like come from a structure where like you have to delegate and you have to put deadlines, otherwise things just move so slowly. And so if we want to make the difference and the impact in our community, we need to implement that.
Right, no, and that's why we're here to work together. We wanted to benefit everybody and.
So I have the meeting for October 21st, and then we have a meeting for November 7th. So that's gonna be our, I don't know, it's just gonna be the taste testing, right? We're gonna have the student panel. We'll talk about it in October and make sure that.
So on November 7th, we can still have our regular meeting. I don't know what other topics we need to cover, but,
We can add topics. Is there anybody else that wants to add a topic, Becky? You want to add a topic for the next meeting? Anybody?
When are we going over the survey that we're creating for the cafeteria staff?
That would be on the
Yeah, but
that
we're
would be
gonna
on
do
the
that.
On the
21st.
21st.
Other topics.
Yeah,
That's
on
all
the
services
7th,
like
on the
that
7th,
now,
is
where
there
the
a
phone
meeting
calls
on
are
the
not
7th?
gonna be made.
November 7th.
Nurses help me.
That was
Yes.
For the minor, like the minor incidents that are happening on campus, that they're no longer contacting parents.
Mhm.
I don't think that's a best practice.
Well,
Yeah, I don't like
there's,
it.
so here's what's going on. You are welcome to tell your campus that you want to be called for every incident.
And then next week.
And they will put that on your child's chart, that's to be called for every incident. It doesn't mean that they'll call you right away if it's a minor incident, you'll
My
be
son
called.
got bit by a bee and they didn't even
So-
call me.
So, yes, okay.
Thank you for being here.
Thank
Yeah,
you
no,
so
we're
much.
gonna, thank you for being here. Did you sign up for the subcommittee?
No, they're meeting.
Okay, you're gonna think about it, okay, that's,
Thank you.
anybody else that wants to sign up for the subcommittee, the list is going around.
What we can do is we can end the meeting and then I can discuss
Yes.
that with y'all. I'm happy to stay behind, to stay and anybody else that wants to stay. Just so that the ones that need to get going, since we did, call it for 6 o'clock, then that way we can get.
How about I
Motion to-
put my question in. Sure, yes,
Okay, the time is 6:05, motion to adjourn.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
Meeting adjourned. But you get back there.